What it do? Welcome to Club 32, and today we're dropping Club 32's top 32 pending free agents. Overall, regardless of position, we've been doing a tier by tier breakdown, breaking this 32 list into four tiers, and now we're down to the final tier, tier number one, selections 8 through 1. We're getting down to the nitty gritty, and for every player, you will continue to get the same. You're getting the same quick breakdown, 2025 season stats, why this player matters. If I feel like they're going to re-sign him or he's going to hit the market, then we're going to look at that player and their overall market value for that position and the league demand for that position, which I'll rate on a metric scale from 1 to 10. Then I'll feel like what are the best team fits based off of this player's skill set. We've been breaking this whole thing down tier by tier from 32 to 1. We're in the final stretch, baby, the final countdown, getting down to the nitty gritty. Let's jump into it. But before we do, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can stay in the loop with Club 32. Let's go. All right, jumping straight into it, starting with number 8, Mr. Rasheed Walker, offensive tackle for the Green Bay Packers. 2025 season stats, offensive lineman had 986 offensive snaps, 572 pass blocking snaps, and 414 run blocking snaps. Only allowed 5 sacks out of 986 total offensive snaps. Only allowed 34 total pressures and had 9 penalties for 55 yards. That is very appropriate. And why does he matter? Well, he's a premium offensive tackle. I mean, this is high demand by default. If you can field a real starting tackle, then you've solved the problem that ruins a lot of seasons. And that alone drives top dollar interest. The likely outcome that I see in this situation, I'm more of a 50-50 when I'm looking at this. I think Green Bay will want continuity, but tackle contracts can balloon quickly in free agency. If Green Bay feels that they can replace him via the draft or developing another player, they may let the market itself set the value. Looking at the market value itself, though, and the league need for this play in this position is a 10 out of 10 every time. Starting caliber tackles always are very, very rare, and teams are willing to overpay to avoid any type of quarterback damage and any type of offensive collapse. The league-wide need is very constant because injuries and offensive line churn just never stops. I'm thinking they might want to bring him back. Like you said, continuity. I mean, you want to continue to build that. I mean, with that type of production and putting that in front of Jordan Love, especially in a division that's going to be looking to get more healthy up front to attack the other players in this division, I would think so. But, nonetheless, if he happens to hit the market, the best 3 team fits that I see are the Patriots, the Titans, and the Seahawks. These teams have clear incentive to invest in protection and offensive structure. Adding a starting tackle immediately raises the floor of an entire offense. So, look, I got Coach Shaq with me, bro. Fight my 3 teams, or you tell me if you can see any other team fits, or how do you feel? Do you think that they're more likely to bring him back, or he's going to test the market?
I believe he's going to test the market because Green Bay, they have Jordan Morgan. Morgan, they drafted him in 2024, I believe. They want him to be the next starting left tackle over there in Green Bay. So I do believe that he's going to end up getting shipped out or them letting him go. He's going to want a lot of money. That's why you draft early when it comes to O-linemen. So therefore, Jordan Morgan will be that guy when it comes to Green Bay next year, more than likely.
Okay.
For teams that might be a fit for him, your three. What are your? I know you said the Patriots, and I know you said
Yeah, for
Titans. Who's
Rasheed
that
Walker,
other team?
the Patriots, the Titans, and the Seahawks. The 3 of them.
Um, I don't think the Titans would do it because we just paid Dan Morgan last year. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think we're going to move Dan Morgan, or I don't think they're going to move Dan Morgan to the right side. So I don't know if they'll do that. When it comes to Rasheed Walker, I'm not sure if he actually played on the right side. And I know last year he didn't, but the previous years, I'm not sure where he was at when it comes to that lineup. I
Yeah.
don't think they would do it because I don't think they would want to spend that money over there. I think they have faith in JC Latham. I think they're going to rock with him for a little bit. There were talks of bumping him down to that left guard position. I feel like they're going to go to the more experienced route,
Mm-hmm.
or they're going to go to the route in which they know. the left guard out of the Jets. I believe that's a target that Tennessee might go for. So I don't see them actually moving when it comes to that. I do. The Patriots are kind of questionable. Rabel said they don't want to move the rookie to the guard position. But at the same time, that draft, I mean, that Super Bowl was kind of rough. He had a rough playoff. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with that.
I'm a Will Campbell, right?
Yes, with Will Campbell. I apologize for that.
No,
Will
you good.
Campbell. So with Will Campbell, I don't think they're going to bump him down to the guard position. I think they're going to let him rock for at least another year. Seahawks is interesting. The Seahawks have talent on that offensive line. They have a good offensive line. They just won the Super Bowl, but there's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah.
So out of the three teams in which you named, I would definitely see Seattle out of anyone else
Okay.
possibly grabbing them. They have money, so why not throw it around to protect your quarterback?
Is it a team that you would suggest that I didn't list it that you can see a better fit that may be around outside of my
Um,
list?
See the Giants. Giants is a possibility.
Okay.
The Giants have a possibility. The Jets need no. The Jets actually draft. They need a lot of talent, but they
Yeah.
drafted heavy on that offensive line position.
Yeah.
I would say Arizona Cardinals,
Okay.
possibly. They got Paris Johnson,
Yeah.
but do they want to move Paris Johnson to the right side? Do they want to keep them there? So Arizona is a question mark when it comes to it. Everyone wants a solid left tackle. I
Sure.
believe he only gave up 5 sacks last year. He's a great. I want to say great. He's um, a really good tackle. He's young still, so therefore there's development that can still
Mm-hmm.
be had. He's a good fit. Cleveland is a possibility. Cleveland Browns, because I know their tackles, both of their tackles were injured last year. The whole offensive line was injured last year. So out of everybody, I believe Cleveland is a possibility. They have to clear a little bit of cap to do that, but Cleveland is definitely a team that we can look at.
Okay. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. We'll keep an eye on that definitely and see how things move in that regard. So
Yes.
moving on to our next prospect. Number 7, Mr. Brees Hall, running back for the Jets, 2025 season stats, 16 games played. Out of 16 games, he rushed for 240 out of 243 rushes. 1,065 rushing yards. He averaged 4.4 yards per carry, had 4 rushing touchdowns. Longest rush was 59 yards. He had 57 first downs. He had 36 receptions for 350 yards, 9.7 yards per reception, 1 receiving touchdown, and his longest reception on the season last year was 42 yards. He did fumble twice and lost both of those fumbles. Why does he matter? Well, a true 3-down weapon with running and receiving type of, especially, given the situation of a lot of teams understanding the value of the running game, it really can bring big play profile to a team that's looking for it. He's a matchup problem because he gives you receiver level value while still carrying a real rushing workload. The likely outcome in this situation, when I'm looking at if they'll re-sign him or he'll hit the market, like we were just talking about the Jets, they have a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things that they need to address, and he hasn't developed to what they would have liked him to do there, and maybe he'd fit better in a better system. I can see it leaning more towards the market, but the modern RB market is volatile. Teams often hesitate to commit top money unless the player is clearly an offensive engine. If the Jets try to manage how they'll spend on this, a high demand win now bidder could get him up out of there faster than they would anticipate. If I'm looking at the market value, the league need for this position player versus the demand, I'm gonna rate this at about a 7 out of 10. Running back isn't just valued like quarterback, edge, and offensive tackle, but dual threat backs who don't leave the field are rarer and more valuable than the position label suggests.
100%.
The need jumps for teams with young quarterbacks or offenses that want easy, explosive touches. The best 3-team fits that I could see here would be the Chargers, the Titans, or even the Rams as a surprise over there. Looking at how they have a lot of moving pieces, they may want to get some stability better at the game, especially because they're going to be on a lot of they're going to be on the quarterback radar for the people to expect. You have Matthew Stafford coming back, but we still understand that this isn't a long-term fix. So definitely expect them, even though they have their quarterback in position, to still be a team in that market. And one good way outside of having good offensive line protection to help out your quarterback would be a nice run game. And yeah, maybe they can be a Hall and Corum. But like I said, the Titans are also a team who seems to definitely be looking to upgrade at the running back position. And like I said, the Chargers, I think they've been shopping for a good running game since Austin Eckler.
Yes.
And Amari Hampton, I mean, I'll still give him a good year to maybe get his feet under him. Did have some injuries. Najee Harris isn't it. I mean, so honestly, I can see them diving into some running back roles this offseason. But nonetheless, like I said, these teams are where 3 down backs can really lighten the QB burden and create explosive yet easy yards and maximize play action and spacing concepts. So, do you agree with my 3 teams? Add any that I didn't mention, and do you think that they're likely to re-sign them to try to keep Brees back with the Jets, or they're going to let him hit the market?
I feel like they're going to put a tag on him. What tag they're going to put on him, we don't know.
Okay.
They're going to put something on him because they want their value back, and that's understandable when it comes to the Jets. They've been
Yeah.
losing a lot of value on their players and whatnot lately, so they're going to put some kind of transitional tag on them, some kind of tender on them. So I expect that to happen. I don't think they're going to let him go scot free. He is a true 3 down back, so that's amazing to have on your team. I like your prediction or possible team as for when it comes to the Tennessee Titans because they need a back.
Yeah.
Yes, they have Tony Pollard. Yes, they have Tajay Spears or whatnot. But who's to say they won't move on for them with the new coaching staff? I can
Mhm.
see a combination of Brees Hall and Isaiah Pacheco, which would be beautiful. You would just clean up the whole running back room and just put them together, a
Hmm.
3rd down back and a hammer. So that makes a
Hmm.
lot of sense. And that way you don't have to draft when it comes to the Tennessee Titans. I
Hmm.
kind of like that. It's kind
Hmm.
of going to be the cheaper route. You might even be able to keep Tajay on that on in that room, which makes sense. But TP would have to definitely get out of there when it comes to it. They're going to get a little bit of money back if they did that. When it comes to other teams that we need to keep an eye on, I would say the Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, and possibly the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
Texans been having a lot of problems when it comes to their running backs. Want to say last year and the year before that, they were solid with Mixon, but at the same time, Mixon was injured last year. So I can see them doing that to get a true running back in there when it comes to Houston, when it
They
comes
got
to Kent.
they got like Nick Chubb and Woody
They had
Marks.
Nick Chubb and they had
Woody Marks, right?
Woody Marks, correct.
Yeah.
So they had those. Woody Marks is always going to be there, but do
Yeah.
you want him to be your bell cow? So that's the questionable thing with it. Nick Chubb is a free agent this year, and I doubt if he comes back.
Yeah.
Kansas City needs a running back. They have been, and honestly, the fandom in me would rather Kansas City get Brees Hall than get Jeremiah Love. Because if they
Hmm.
get Jeremiah Love, it's going to be a problem for the AFC. So the fan in me would say, take Brees Hall. I'd rather that issue compared to the Jeremiah Love for years and years down the line. Um, but as the scout and as a guy to analyze football, I feel like Jeremiah Love would be the perfect choice for them. So I don't think they will grab Brees. Um, when it comes to Dallas, they need a running back also. Williams is a free agent this year. I believe he's going to be an unrestricted free agent because they're going to put
Hmm.
the tag on Pickens, GP, more than likely. So I see Dallas, I see Tennessee, and I see possibly Houston and Kansas City.
Yeah. Yeah, I had Javante in my what I had him. I had him in my 3rd tier, 16 through 9. No,
Yeah.
this tier 2, I'm sorry.
And he's going to be a good back also. A lot of people are not giving him enough credit for what he did last year. He's going to be a good back. He's going to be a combo back, though. That's the thing. You're going to need somebody else to go with him. Yes, he carried the load mostly by himself last year, but I feel like just like Tony Pollard, I feel like you need to pair these guys with another back just
Yeah.
because it's going to take the workload off their body and the longevity effect of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, let me ask you something about Javante while we're talking about him, because I
Hold on.
had a friend on my earlier who was talking about it. Do you think, and this is real speculation just around, but do you think that Jerry Jones, like, do you think he'll try to retain, like, more so? He said that he doesn't see, and this is coming from an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't see Jerry Jones wanting to take the backlash from the media that he took from last year, dealing with the Michael Parsons not paying him, hesitating on the money. Do you think he's going to go through another whirlwind of that when it comes to like Javante or George?
No, no. Well, how can I put it like this? I don't think he cared. I would say no when it comes to him caring about the backlash.
Okay.
Jerry Jones doesn't care. Jerry Jones is going to do what Jerry Jones wants to do. He's going to do what he feels is best for the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
If it's holding up money, he's going to hold up money. If
Yeah.
it's paying a guy right then and there, he's going to pay the guy right then and there. I think GP gets a deal. I don't think we get it this offseason. I think we get it next offseason. Williams, I believe he might get a deal when it comes to Dallas, but I don't think it's going to be the money that he actually wants.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's going to be a lesser deal. But again, if you want a lesser deal, then why not? If you want a lesser deal with Dallas, why not get a bigger deal with someone else? But again, we don't know if he is he does he need the
Yeah.
money? Does he want the money, or do he want the opportunity to be with a franchise like Dallas? Everybody hates Dallas, but at the same time, that name, that brand is huge.
Yeah.
So he might stay with Dallas and take the lesser money and just make money somewhere else when it comes to sponsorships and things of that nature, other
Mm-hmm.
things, other ventures around Dallas area or the Texas area. So I see I see Williams staying and taking a mid level deal, and I see
Okay.
GP like I was saying before, getting franchise tagged and getting tagged, and then signing a bigger deal possibly next year or in the middle of the season if he stays healthy. Healthy.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Yeah. 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 Save your thoughts. We ready to roll up on him in just a second. But right now, we jumping into number 6, Mr. Alec Pierce, wide receiver from the Indianapolis Colts. 2025 season stats: 15 games played, 47 receptions for 1,003 yards, averaging 21.3 yards per reception. 6 touchdowns. Longest reception on the season was 66 yards. Had 17 catches of 20 plus yards or more and 5 catches of 40 plus. Why does he matter? Well, given those numbers, he seems to be a vertical game changer. High end, deep threat production. He doesn't just run fast, he forces defenses to really restructure um, and open up their whole entire playbook underneath to try to battle him out. When I really look at this evaluation here, the likely outcome between him re-signing back and hitting the market, I think they have a lot of developmental pieces that they have coming. They'll
Yes.
probably want to test the market, so I lean more towards them letting him hit the market.
Yeah.
But one thing about this, deep threats get paid when they prove repeatable chunk production. And his 2025 output screams specialized premium.
Yes.
Indy may want him back, but the bidding war can quickly exceed what teams want to allocate to a role receiver. When I'm evaluating the market value versus the league need for this player in this position, I'll put this at an 8 out of 10. The league always wants speed and explosiveness. That's how points are created. While wide receiver supply is larger than edge or QB, proven vertical specialists still have strong demand because they can change spacing. Now, evaluating this situation, if he were to happen to hit the market for whatever reason, they can't work it out in Indy, he's out here looking for a home. The best 3 team fits that I see for Mr. Alec Pierce is the Titans, the Patriots, and the Giants. These teams either need a field stretcher to open the offense, or they need a chunk play, the type of chunk play receiver with that identity to stop living in a 12-play drive mode. So look, fight my 3, bro. Titans, Patriots, Giants, and do you see him resign with this team or him hitting the open market?
I think he's going to resign for the simple fact I think they're about to let go of Pittman. If they let
Okay.
go of Pittman, he's that's it right there. They expect him to be the number 1 guy next year. But that's only if they let go of Pittman. I personally wouldn't let go of Pittman because of what he can do for a team. Pittman is a monster. He's a big body receiver. He can be a red zone threat. He can move the chains. He can do whatever you need to do. So I don't want to talk too much on him. But Pierce, he stretches the field.
Yeah.
Now, when you think about it like this, are the Colts getting those chuck pays with Pierce because of Pittman, or is it vice versa? So now you got to look at that. Now you take one away, what's going to happen with the productivity of that player? So that's questionable when it comes to
Hmm.
their game plan is questionable when it comes to the scheme and stuff like that. So I think they're going to re-sign him because they're going to try to be smart with it, and I think they're going to try to restructure a deal when it comes to Pittman so they can keep both. I don't think they want to go backwards when it comes to the productivity of their receivers. But
Yeah.
if he was to hit the market, I look at teams like Tennessee, I look at teams like the Steelers, and I look at teams like possibly the Broncos. If the
Hmm.
Broncos want to keep Cortland Sutton, I think in my opinion, he's a number 2 receiver that
Yeah.
can possibly move into another number 1. Um, Tennessee, we need something. They need something bad. They
Some-
should throw the bag at them. If you throw the bag at them, you can worry about your number 1 next year, or you can try to produce him or basically develop him as your number 1. Pittsburgh, I can see it because they have DK over there. So you got DK Metcalf and you have Alec. That's dangerous, and that's going to be an amazing lineup when it comes to that wide receiver room. Um, I don't think the Patriots are going to bite just because I think the Patriots are going to try to get AJ Brown. If the Patriots get AJ Brown or don't get AJ Brown, then they can really talk about it and see what they can do because I think they need a receiver that can stretch the field. But I really also think they like Kyle Williams too, and they feel like Kyle Williams will be able to do that down the road.
okay.
So they might want to keep and develop their talent. So Patriots are the only iffy one for me. I've seen Patriots out there their name thrown out there a lot when it comes to Alec, but the 3 teams I really think we need to hone on and just like really put on a microscope when it comes to him are the Titans, Steelers, and Denver Broncos.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. He definitely gonna be an asset to whatever wide receiver. I mean, even the he's in now,
Yeah,
uh, he's an asset. So he's definitely bringing his skill set. As long as he's
yeah,
doesn't get anyone who doesn't know how to utilize him. But I'm thinking he'll
I,
evaluate all that if he
I,
has the chance to sign outside of Indy.
definitely. Another thing we got to question and look at is the Colts know that the Titans need a receiver, multiple receivers. So do they let him go or even let Pittman go and allow one of those guys to go to Tennessee? Because I think if they let one of them go, one of them definitely will go to Tennessee. So now will they trade Pittman? Who knows? Will they franchise tag Alec and try to trade him somewhere else and get some more assets in? So if I'm the Colts, I'm not letting anyone go to Tennessee. I'm not letting anybody go to my rival teams because I don't want to see that guy 2 times a year with
Hey,
Pittman, Air, or out.
see what happened with Saquon.
Hey, exactly. Prime example. Prime example.
Yeah, hey, if things get crazy in this league, they get real crazy.
Exactly.
Speaking about another need for the Titans and other teams around here, jumping into number five. Number five, Mr. Jalen Phillips, edge rusher, Philadelphia Eagles, 2025 season stats: 17 games played, 17 games started. He split 9 of them with Miami and 8 in Philly. 53 total tackles, 27 solo, 26 assisted, 5 sacks, 4 passes defended, and 1 interception. Why does he matter? Well, I mean, long, versatile edge with a disruption upside is a good way to describe him. It's a good way to start. He's also scheme flexible. If you look at it, you can ask him to rush, set the edge, and play within multiple front structures without losing his impact. The likely outcome when I'm looking at this situation, if I feel like they might sign him back in Philly or let him hit the market, is a tough 50-50. I think they might let him test the market. I don't know what they're willing to pay for it, but Philly can justify keeping him because pass rush is a pillar, especially in Philly. But the market will pay hard for edges with ceiling traits. If the contract demands climb into like premium rusher territory, this could make tough decisions that can show up within negotiations between him and his organization. Looking at the market value and the league need for this position and this type of player, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 because edge rushers with size plus explosiveness are always expensive because pressure is the fastest path to defensive consistency.
Yep.
Teams will pay for the possibility of elite if the traits check out. Looking at the best 3 team fits outside of my bias Tennessee Titans are the Bears, the Jaguars, and the Cardinals, because all three can maximize him in aggressive fronts where he's allowed to hunt quarterbacks and still be part of the structured run defensive plan. Again, like I said, we can throw the Titans in there as an honorable mention. The Bears, the Jaguars, the Cardinals are mine. How you feel, bro? Fight my three. And do you think that Philly is likely to re-sign him or let him hit the market?
I think he stays with Philly. I think they're going to tag him, work out something, or they're just going to straight out re-sign him. I don't think he leaves Philly. I'm not sure what they traded for him. I believe it was a third. I could be wrong, but last time they traded somebody, traded a third, they released him in the offseason, which was Kevin Byard. When the Eagles traded for KB, I want to say 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't get any investment on their return or return on their investment, and they just, I wouldn't say wasted a draft pick because they went for broke. They're trying to win a Super Bowl, in which I get. I don't think they make the same mistake twice. So
Yeah.
I do think they either tag him or they try to re-sign him. Um, I don't honestly see him hitting the market heavy. I think they get something done as soon as possible.
Okay. Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how they move around because, I mean, it will be something to watch. Like you
Yeah.
said, going down that same road twice and then even trading for him in the first place and then letting him go would be kind of, I'll say awkward, but eyebrow raising to say the least.
100%. Yeah, because you want return on your investment. You don't want to just trade away. And it was a third. They traded a third for him.
Okay.
So you don't want to just trade guys away and not get no return on your investment. Yes, he played. Yes, he did decent, but it's not the same. You want
Yeah,
more time with him. You want him to be in that building for a little bit longer. So I think he stays a little bit longer.
definitely going to see some cleanup around the league. Speaking of cleanup, let's jump into this quarterback where I'm talking about number 4, Mr. Daniel Jones,
Yeah.
quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, 2025 season stats. 3,101 passing yards, 19 touchdowns to 18 interceptions, 63 quarterback rating. We know that he didn't finish the season because of injury, but the question would remain, like you would ask, why does he matter? Well, I mean, he still offers starting QB value on the market. Availability tied to the injury timeline is another factor. But even if he's not a carry the franchise type of guy, he's a functional starter, and that alone has high value when quarterback rooms are unstable in certain franchises. The likely outcome in this situation, I mean, it was a 1-year deal. I don't know if they want to bring him back. I don't know what they do with Anthony Richardson. They have a lot of questions at quarterback themselves, but they might lean towards the market. I'm not sure. I feel like they might have got what they got out of him. I'm not sure if they want to reinvest to try to deal with the rehab and quarterback to try to potentially get back to that, unless they still got some nostalgia or but with a clear vision, they probably want to bring in someone who's more stable, who isn't rehabbing an injury. But nonetheless, maybe they have. He gave them one of their best seasons that they had that they thought that they would have gotten out of Anthony Richardson. I would even say Phillip Rivers gave him better play than they would get out of Anthony Richardson, but I'm not going to digress too much.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, it's still something that you want to, kind of keep up with because, I mean, letting them hit the market. I mean, quarterback movement is common when teams think that they can upgrade, draft, or, pivot financially. But if there's any uncertainty around the timeline and the health, and you're talking about contract numbers, teams often, let the market just set the price and then work it out from there. But of course, looking at the market value and the demand for this position is always going to be a 10 out of 10 because quarterback is the league's #1 scarce position.
Yeah.
Even mid-tier starters create bidding pressure because of the alternatives is a no plan type of shit. And demand, stays high because 8 to 12 teams are almost always searching for upgrade at the position.
Yeah.
I mean, looking in this situation, I think he do real great value as a veteran. If he has the potential to be a starter in the team, gets him into that role, so be it. But I think he still be valuable to a quarterback locker room. If you roll him out there as a starter or if you roll him out there as backup, the 3 best team fits that I can see sitting around this situation could be, hear me out, the Raiders, the Vikings,
I like the Raiders. I
and
like that. I didn't think of that. I like that though.
and I, hmm. See the Raiders, the Vikings. You know what? I'm gonna even say the Steelers. It sounds crazy. sound crazy, but
Oh,
a
no,
lot of these
they don't.
teams are in win now stabilized mode. I mean,
Yeah,
he can offer you that when healthy, especially we were seeing that given the right system. The Giants were just a mess with them. I mean,
absolutely,
not trying to jump on the franchise, but there are a lot of other franchises that have way better rosters and ran way there. We've seen what he could do with a roster when he had Indy. So I think that
absolutely.
might give teams a lot more potential in way because I mean it's a recency bias. So I think what teams would have that, looking at where he was at prior to the injury, and there's a team out there that's gonna have enough hope that he can at least, like I said, if give them the stable play or at least be, effective in the quarterback room as a backup number two. But yeah, I mean, do you think he hits the market yourself? How do you feel about my three? Feel free to add any teams that I might have left off. But
Yeah.
what's your take back on Mr. Daniel Jones, man? How are we looking at him?
Honestly, brother, I love your three because it makes sense if you want to crunch the numbers, if you want to think about the future. When it comes to the Steelers, this is the only one that it's honestly it's not the only one. I was going to say this is the only one that's completely future driven. No, this is not the only one that's like that. When it comes to the Steelers, are we going to get A Rod back, or will he go somewhere else? How do they feel about Will Howard? Will he start? Will he be the backup? So if you bring, first of all, we got to worry about Daniel Jones' health. Will he even play next year? That's up for debate. So you can bring him in as a number two. You can bring him in as comp, and just to see what's going out there, if he can get healthy or whatever situation might be.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense with the Steelers because you can see, hey, is this guy going to be my future when A Rod leaves? Makes sense. Can he compete with Will Howard? Makes sense. When it comes to the Raiders, he can be a backup for the future. How do you feel about Gino? Is Gino still going to be on that roster next year?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with him? So you can bring him on as a backup because we already know Mendoza will be that starting quarterback next year and
Yep.
for the future. So do
Yep.
you want to put him as a number two? But the thing is, does James Jones see himself as a future number two?
That's the question.
Does he see himself as a starter? If he sees himself as a starter, you will go to the Steelers, sit a little bit, get healthy next year, do what you got to do. The Vikings, they got JJ McCarthy. We don't know what that situation is. They said they want to bring in a guy to compete with them. They loved Daniel Jones when he was there. It makes sense to him coming back, possibly competing for that starting role if he's healthy. And it makes sense with him staying with the Colts. This is where you got your most success. Sign another 1 year deal.
Yep.
If I'm the Colts, I am not giving him that franchise tag, though. In my opinion, I'm not paying that money. In my opinion, what is it? 47 this year for the franchise tag?
Yeah.
40 something. 40 something will be the franchise tag number for the quarterback position. I'm not paying that money. I'm not putting that tag out there for a quarterback that's injured and might not even play the full season this year.
Yeah.
So if I'm them, I'm letting him hit the market. I'm seeing if I can get him back and bring him back on a 1 year deal. If I am also Daniel Jones, I'm staying with the Colts where I got my most productivity and just praying to God that I get healthy. I'm working my butt off to get healthy and going from
Yeah.
that point forward. I think that's where it's going to lean to more. But I love year three. Honestly, I love the Stiller one is really intriguing for me, especially if he's healthy, because that's a backup quarterback this year, and that's a starter quarterback next year. You learn
Yep.
under that Mike McCarthy system,
Yep.
and then next year when A Rod is gone, if he even comes back, that's beautiful. It
Yeah.
makes sense. The only one that's questionable to me is the Raiders because I don't know if he wants to be a
Yeah.
backup for the rest of
Yeah.
his career.
Yeah. Like I said, I guess I was going to hinge on the rehab
Yeah,
because I mean he's been in the league long enough to understand that he's not healthy. He's so he might not have the negotiating power that you would think. Now, if he went
100%
over there with the Raiders, maybe on a 1 year deal, I'll nurse this injury. I'll get back. I'll be a good, QB veteran. Then I can come back with the market next year.
and go from there.
Maybe. But like I said, it might not be none of those three. But hey, you got to create the conversation to make something understandable. And yeah, I think they absolutely make sense.
I like
Jumping
what's
in,
the name too. The Cardinals is a questionable team too because we don't know what they want to do with that
that's true.
quarterback
That's
position.
true. That's true. Absolutely.
They said they want to. Kyler Murray is allegedly supposed to be getting traded.
Mm-hmm.
That's a conversation that we can have all day, every day, because I feel like he'll be a great fit with the Jets if they made that trade. But that's a conversation we can have for another day.
Yeah, I got we got plenty. We got
Yeah.
plenty. But look, but jumping into number three, okay, Tyler Lindenbaum, center for the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Got a good name if you're a football watcher. You really heard this a few times. And in 2025, his season stats out of 1,007 offensive snaps, 536 pass block snaps, and 471 run block snaps, he
Mm-hmm.
only allowed 2 sacks. 2 sacks, 26 total pressures allowed, and only 5 penalties. 5 penalties. Let me break some down. If you give him 5 penalties and you give him 2 sacks,
Mm-hmm.
if you give that to him for each snap, I'll give you a sack on this snap. I'll give you a sack on that snap. And I'll give you 1 penalty per snap. He still has 1,000 snaps with none of that.
He's different. He's legit.
1,000 to 2 and 5 equal to 7. And so, that's something that you man, we should have
Yeah.
snatched. Man. But
That's not going to happen.
yeah,
Man, listen, that we should have snatched him a long time ago. I
it's okay.
Yeah, this one hurts because I would love to have him with us in Tennessee, but we just Tennessee lovers.
Yeah,
I love Cush. I feel like Cush is only going to improve
yeah, yeah.
under the O line coach that we have. But yeah, I love Lindenbaum. I think personally, do you want to say your three first?
I'm gonna get down to it. Yeah, I'm gonna get down to it. Let me finish this. I'm gonna toss it back to you.
Yeah,
But why he matters is because, like we were just saying, he's an elite tone center. Premium. Make the whole offensive line better type of piece. A center who can anchor protections and move people in the run game. That alone upgrades the entire offense's floor. The likely outcome right here, we're looking at a re-sign versus a market. Like you said, that type of caliber player. And the continuity he has with Lamar, I think Jesse Minter want to keep his quarterback comfortable under center and not
yeah,
have to worry about too much. So I think they'll likely try to work out something, bringing him back into the building, because teams almost never really let a top tier center walk unless they're forced to in some type of cap reset.
yeah,
But I mean, because replacing the line communication is brutal. And Baltimore's identity, depends on the middle of the O-line being clean and smart, honestly. But looking at the market value right here, for this position versus the league demand, this is a 9 out of 10 for this caliber player for this position. Protection is always key, especially in front of your most valuable asset. Having that continuity is a great way to build around your outside line. A lot of people want to build from the outside in. Some people build from the inside out. Everybody's a little different, but I think this is about like a 9 out of 10, honestly, because true high-level centers, they're very rare. And once teams find one, they usually lock them up. The market spikes because so many offenses collapse when the interior protections, and calls are not stable like they need to be. But
yeah.
but getting to my 3-team pitch that I could see if this were to happen for whatever reason, I could see the Giants. Again, I'm going back to the Seahawks and the Buccaneers. These are teams that either need protection for their quarterback to be upgraded up front, or want to raise the efficiency of both the run and pass game with one premium interior addition. So, like I said, hey, those are my three, man. Giants, Seahawks, Buccaneers. Do you got them signing him? Do you see him testing the market? Talk to me, bro. How you feel about Tyler, man?
I don't think they let him go. Honestly, I wouldn't let him go. I don't see him let him. I don't see them letting him go. I think he's going to stay there. I think that's where he's going to be for the duration of his career. If he do hit that market, he's going to the Giants. John Harbaugh will gift that man whatever he wants. Blank check. Come in. I don't even think he visited another team or talks to another team. I think it would just be either Giants or Ravens at this point.
Yeah.
And that's it. Plain and simple. I don't see it happening. That's
Yeah.
it.
No, definitely. But that makes sense. Like you said, continuity there. Go to where you're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume he's been your coach your whole career.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Why else? Yeah, so yeah, definitely. And yeah. We'll see. But yeah, he probably likely stay in house. But I do agree with you. I can see that as a likely landing spot if he were to go anywhere. You're not lying. But get back to what we were saying earlier, man. Talking about Mr. Picky, man. Number 2, George Pickens, wide receiver for the
Man.
Dallas Cowboys. Talk about his 2025 season stats: 17 games played, 15 games started. He had 93 receptions for 1,429 yards, 9 touchdowns, averaging 15.4 yards per reception. Longest reception of the season was 49 yards. Why does he matter? Well, this is a true explosive, wide receiver one. At least he displays the traits of one, and he
Yeah.
flips the field. He wins at all three levels. He's also a coverage dictator. Defense have to shade help, which creates easier money for everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
The likely outcome when we reevaluate, well, not reevaluate, but evaluating, and this is going to be a re-sign versus him hitting the market. I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I'm not going to lie, because the tag risk is real.
Yeah.
But Dallas has every incentive to keep the player who gives them weekly chunk play access. But the price tag raises fast when you're paying for one wide receiver, one impact. If negotiations get messy, a tag or controlled exit becomes more realistic. But looking at the market value league need for this caliber player in this position, I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10, because the league is constantly hunting for real X receivers who can win outside and threaten vertically. Wide receiver demand is always at a high, and true tilt to the safety guys are rarer than people think. The
Yeah.
best team fits that I can see, if Mr. Pickens was to hit the market and unable to work out something in Jerry's fantastic world, the best three-team fits that I could see would be the Patriots, the Titans, or the Panthers. These are teams that desperately need an alpha target to define coverages, stress defenses vertically, and stabilize their passing identity from week to week. So again, the Patriots, the Titans, or the Panthers. I'm 50-50 on the re-sign of the market. I think they'll try to, like you said, give him a deal, or maybe 1 year, not the friend. But what do you think? Okay, that's my three. How do you feel about his market availability? What we talking about, Mr. George Pickens?
It's a market, but it's a difficult market because what guy are we getting? Are we getting the guy that had the problems in Pittsburgh, or are we getting the guy that was okay in Dallas?
Hmm.
So, and not a lot of franchises can be okay with this type of situation. Dallas is one. Patriots, they shown they can do it with Diggs, but
Yeah,
again, do the Patriots want to bring back Diggs? Well, I think Diggs has come back no matter what. I got to check. Um, do the Patriots want to try to trade for AJ, which Rabel already knows how to deal with him, or do
yeah,
they want to go for Pickett? That's just only if he leaves Dallas. I would say Buffalo needs a receiver,
yeah.
but the thing is, Buffalo didn't want to deal with Diggs. Why would they want to deal with Pickens?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another questionable thing. Lost, and also he said he wants the share. He wants more than half of the share of targets. That is very difficult to do. That's very difficult to ask for. That's allegedly. Hopefully, that's not the case. Again, we're going to say allegedly,
Hmm.
because if you put that pressure on your quarterback, that's going to be a
Yeah,
problem. Dak can handle it. I believe Aaron Rodgers can handle it. Guys like that can handle it. I don't think all quarterbacks can. Kansas City can handle it. That will be an interesting pickup. I don't think they do it. I think it's either going to be Dallas or it's going to be the Patriots, the Titans. I would love for the Titans to get in on that, but at the same time, I don't think they want to deal with a questionable. I don't even want to say character, a questionable circumstance like that. A
yeah,
guy that's forcing targets more so than letting the targets come to him. Vegas would have been a beautiful spot for him, money wise and everything, target wise, even. But again, do you want to put that on the number one pick?
yeah,
I don't think they want to put that on the number one pick. I don't think they want to have that problem. So my two teams to look out for will be him going back to Dallas or the Patriots, 100%. I feel like the Patriots is really, really intriguing because if you put Diggs, you got Mack, you got Diggs, you got Kyle Williams, you got Douglas over there. That wide receiver room would go crazy if they added Pickens. But again, I don't know. I'm not gonna say I don't think. I really don't know what they what he's gonna ask for. One, I don't know if the quarterback that he's gonna go to is gonna be okay with handling that situation.
mm-hmm.
So, and we don't know his mindset when it comes to it. I personally think he's going to end up going back to Dallas.
Yeah, I think CD enjoyed playing alongside him. Make his job a whole lot easier for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely for sure. Well, we'll see, man. We'll see how Jerry feeling this year, man. Maybe he's feeling a lot generous this
Might
year.
want to drop that bag. If honestly, if I'm Dallas, it's tough. It's tough because both of your receivers, your number one receivers, they showed out when they had to, but at the same time, they faltered and they fell behind in certain situations too. We had a lot of questionable drops from CD. We had a lot of questionable play when it comes to Pickens, but it seems to work through it all. When you look at the masses, it seemed like it worked. So hopefully he goes back and hopefully he balls out. He looked good on that roster last year. Um, so yeah, but again, when the man gets his money, we don't
Yeah.
know. Look at Legarius Sneed. When the man got his money, that whole play completely changed. So we don't know. We don't know.
We don't. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that they're doing their due diligence, considering all of that, because that is definitely something to consider.
Yeah,
Sometimes the money isn't worth the, the problems
hassle.
that come with it. But nonetheless, bringing everything to a final close, we've been rocking out for all 32, and the drum roll to the final number one player, as you see sitting there in front of you the whole time, Mr. Trey Hendrickson, edge rusher, Cincinnati Bengals. 2025 season stats. He played in 7 games, had 16 total tackles, 11 solo, 5 assists, had 4 sacks, 1 pass defended, and 1 forced fumble in 7 games. It's crazy. Some people whole season look like that.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
It could be a lot better, but we understand the production and we understand what happened last year. Why does he matter? Well, he's an instant pass rush upgrade, nonetheless. Game record presence, without a doubt. Even in a shortened year, he still produced like a true closer. The type who changes third down math immediately. The
Yeah,
likely outcome in this situation, resign versus sign, um, he had problems last year, and I don't know if Trey actually wants to be. I mean, I don't know.
he don't want to be there.
If you're talking about culture fit, I think is likely to move on. I'm pretty sure they would want to keep him there because they have nothing on defense and they need everything on defense. But yeah, I don't think I think the relationship is soured and it might be over. But or they could tag him, but I don't think they want to spend their money for
It's
that.
gonna be
But
a tagger bag.
at least edge rushes, they rarely hit the open market clean because the supply is low and the bidding explodes very, very fast. Cincinnati would be risking you can't replace this type of loss if they let them hit without a plan at all. But when you're looking at the market value and the demand for this type of player in this position, it's definitely a 10 out of 10 for this player. And the edge is one of the most league's expensive and most desperate position groups every offseason. A
Yeah,
proven finisher is a premium asset because it impacts every defensive snap. The best 3-team fits that I can see for Trey Hendrickson here is I'm definitely going to say the Titans because they definitely need that. They need. I mean, look, edge is definitely a premium position. The Falcons could definitely use. Imagine him getting in on that defense, or even the Cardinals. Like you said, they rebuilding. They like I said, team fits is based off of these players' skill set, and I'm not sure if these are teams that he may not want to go. Being on a team like that, a lot of players get into this win now mentality, or they
yeah,
want to win or be more championship caliber. But these are teams who definitely desperately need an edge and could fit and use his skill set immediately. Honorable mention, we could even look in Chicago Bears, looking at them needing a little bit more heat up front. But all 3 of these teams are built to benefit from a high-end edge who can win without blitzing
yeah.
and allow the secondary to play calmer coverage shells. So look, like I said, Titans, Falcons, Cardinals. I got the Bears in there for honorable mention. I think it gets ugly, and either they'll be forced to tag or they'll just not deal with the headache and let them hit the market. But fight my 3, bro. Fight my teams. And
Mhm.
what do you think about the likelihood? You think he's going to hit the market? You think they keep him in house? What's going on with it?
I think it's going to be a tag and bag situation. I think they're going to tag him and bag him. They're going to send him somewhere um, that they're going to benefit from more so than well. It's going to be an equal situation when it
Yeah.
comes to that. I look at teams like San Francisco. They need a pass. They need a pass rusher. I like Chicago on that. I don't think the Titans will do it because I don't think they're going to end up bringing guys in that were hurt. That was hurt, even if it doesn't make sense when it comes to his injuries. If you
True.
look back in 2021, he played 16 games with 14 sacks. 2022, 15 with 8. 2023, 17 with 17.5. And 2024, 17 with 7.5. This year, it was a 7-4. So is it that he just didn't want to play, or is it he was legit hurt? I don't want to question the man's character when it comes to it, but that is something to think about when it comes to scouting and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't I don't think the Titans are wanna will touch that because I think we
Okay.
want to go the younger route.
Mhm.
He's going to be 31, I believe, at some point in time this season. I could be wrong.
True. True. True.
He's
True.
going to be in his 30s, I believe. So I think the Titans will go more of uh, the draft route when it comes to their edge and to pair with Femi on the other side.
Okay.
Um, I really really like him in Chicago. I really really like him in San Francisco because when it comes to that tag and bag situation or tag and trade situation, yeah, I think San Francisco definitely will be more comfortable with giving up a third or a fourth when it comes to the bag and trade situation. I think Chicago might be okay with it because they got leeway. They did well with what they had last year, especially Chicago. I think Chicago they're going to get real risky this year when it comes to certain things. Try to target more of the more experienced players and go from that point forward. Titans, I just don't see it. I don't think they're going to give up a pick. I don't. We need our picks. I'm trying not to be a fan right now, but the Titans need their picks. So I doubt if they're actually going to give a third round pick for a guy like Trey right now. If you're talking
Yeah.
about GP, that's a different situation. GP is a whole nother situation. I think they give a
Mhm.
third for GP, but um,
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. Like you said, aging. And there's a lot of other options out here. Oh man, you can see a lot of that on my other episode when we break down the top 10 players in each position, and he's definitely on that list. But there's a few other ones that's actually great at paying attention to. But nonetheless, that's it. Look, running back through this final 8 right quick while we got y'all here on the screen. We got Rasheed Walker at number 8, Brees Hall at number 7, Alec Pierce at number 6, Jalen Phillips at number 5, Daniel Jones at number 4, Tyler Linden Baum at number 3, number 2, George Pickens, and number 1, Trey Hendrickson. That completes the total collection of my top 32 free agents. Appreciate you coming through, rocking out with the club. And with that being said, that, ladies and gentlemen, is another one in the books for Club 32. Want to thank you for coming through and rocking out with the club. Look, this is just a show where we just trying to pull fans together and give you the best of what we can give you the best way that we know how. Just make sure to follow us at Club 32 GP for your chance to keep up with all of our NFL breakdowns, and so you can come and be a guest on the show and represent your squad the way that you want to. Until next time, it's been real. Appreciate you. And look, good luck with your scenes because we're going to talk about them too. Be safe. We out.